right, it's MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football, breaking down as many Power 5 teams as we can possibly get to, including Miami. We're breaking them down position by position, so dive into the videos. There's got to be at least 100 position previews at this point. Most of the big players across the Power 5. We've got the wholesome one on the line, Dwayne Holloway. He's helped us run the gamut on personnel on the offense and defensive sides for the Canes, and we find ourselves, Dwayne, at the quarterback position. So everybody wants to hear about this. I think the position's in much better shape than it was at this point last year, despite the inexperience among the three players. What N'Kosi Perry obviously has 6 or 7 games under his belt. So we've talked about it a number of times throughout the offseason and after the bowl game last season. So one last time here, Wholesome One, as we get primed for the first week of August camp. N'Kosi Perry, Jaron Williams, Tate Martell. It's quite a quarterback competition, and size it up for us.
Absolutely. It's a great thing to have. It's a blessing in disguise to be able to have 3 quality quarterbacks on your roster who are all vying for the spot to be the starting quarterback at the University of Miami. And at the end of the day, whoever wins this job truly, truly has earned it. And a lot of people say that, and Cam comes on here, and we love Cam. Cam says, "Hey, whoever gets this, they earn it." And we truly mean that because for years it was the number one guy came in, he kept it for 2 or 3 years. Nobody pushed him, no matter how good or bad they were. When Ja'Cory Harris was here, there was no one on the roster to really push him to vow for the starting job until Stephen Morris came. And by that time, it was Ja'Cory Harris's last year at the University of Miami. So when Stephen Morris comes in, nobody was able to push him for the job. So no matter how good or bad he was throughout preparation, throughout practices, and even in games, we had nobody to uproot him, move him out the way, and say, "Hey, this guy is doing better than you, and we're going to put him in the game." And then we get Brad Kaya. Same thing happened again. But now we have a situation. Started last year. We have Malik Rozier and N'Kosi Perry. Anybody who saw football and knows 2+2 knows that N'Kosi Perry was better than Malik Rozier. And he gave us the better opportunity to win the big time games. You point to second half versus Florida State when he decided to stop giving the dive to Travis Homer for 2 yards a pop and started to go spread and pick them apart and win the game. And that's what you need at the quarterback position. Someone who's willing to go out and make those big time plays. Go out and gunsling the ball. Attack cover two. I see the safety right there, but I'm going to put the ball in between, right under that linebacker, and right before the safety and right above that linebacker, and hit Jeff Thomas in the seam. It doesn't matter, and that's what you want to see from your quarterback position. So we'll start out with N'Kosi Perry, 6'4", 185-pound, red shirt sophomore. Now, N'Kosi Perry's completion percentage last year is something a lot of people want to take and run with. Oh, well, he was 97 of 191 passes, but at the same time, it was 40 drop passes, Mark. 40 drop passes. 18 of those drop passes came from Cajun, who's no longer a Miami Hurricane. So that's a good thing right there. But he still threw over 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. So he had his woes. And that's the thing about having a young quarterback is understanding that he's going to make mistakes. And you have to roll with the punches. Don't pull him out Virginia game because that's when you lose the team. That's when you lose the confidence of N'Kosi Perry. And you really saw a decline from that game on for the rest of the season because of that decision for Mark Richt to pull N'Kosi Perry out after he had just came back and beat in-state rival Florida State at home for the first time since Frank Gore was in college. For the first time in that stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, we hadn't beaten them in that venue since we were in the Orange Bowl in Havana. So um, N'Kosi Perry was the quarterback and is the quarterback who I am behind 110% to win this job. Mainly because I would love to see N'Kosi Perry go out and show who he truly is in a spread coast system. Go out there and show that he is the quarterback of the future to take us to the next level. He has the arm. He has the experience of having to go through Mark Rick, see what he can do well, see what he can do bad, and learn from those things. And to have a quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator like Dan Enos, who made Jalen Hurts completion percentages go up 12 to 15%. A national championship playing quarterback got 10 times better under Dan Enos. And you bring in a guy with that mindset and that understanding of the quarterback position, not only as a coach, but as a player at Michigan State, a Rose Bowl winning quarterback, to come and really inject some greatness into the quarterback room, starting out with N'Kosi Perry. Now we'll go on to Jaron Williams because I'll leave Miami Martell for the last one. I know everybody wants to hear about Mr. Martell. We'll talk about Jaron Williams. It's not much statistically to talk about Jaron Williams. He's a redshirt freshman who, by all accounts, if you were to talk about who is the NFL quarterback, it's Jaron Williams. Um, I'm not going to go on. A lot of people want to say that he's a transfer guy and things of that nature. I don't have any particular insights to say that he is such. And as of right now, he's number 15 for the Miami Hurricanes. So hopefully that continues to be such. His arm isn't as strong as N'Kosi Perry, and his elusiveness and great playmaking abilities of Miami Martell isn't on the same level as Tate Martell. But Jerry Williams is that quarterback that does enough to get you by based on spring ball and things that he's the Dak Prescott of our quarterback room. He won't go out and throw for 3,000 yards, but he also won't throw 12 interceptions and put you in a bad situation. He can game manage. He has the accuracy, and his arm is good enough to get you over the hump. So I wouldn't mind seeing Jaron Williams win it, but as of right now, he's either at the 2 or the 3 spot based after spring ball. The next guy, Miami Martell, Tate Martell. He is 5'10", 210-pound, red shirt sophomore, transfer from Ohio State. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate you sending the guy on down for us. and
We do what we can. We sent one
yeah,
to LSU last off season, so here's another one out there.
and if he can come and have the type of season that Burrow had at LSU with Miami, I'll take it. But they're really talking about two different types of players. Burrow was a guy who will do enough to get you by and make a play or two. Tate Martell is one of those playmakers that wants to go make a play right now. Um, I've even heard some people, and I have to say this, disrespect Tate Martell to the extent of calling him Malik Rozier. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Tate Martell is a Division I starting quarterback, and he has the intangibles to be the starting quarterback at the University of Miami. If he truly earns this job by beating out N'Kosi Perry, by beating out Jaron Williams, there's a couple of things that he has worked on. His accuracy and arm strength is something you can really grow, but it's kind of something you have or you don't. I mean, you can't really go out and do a whole bunch of one arm push ups and then now you throw 60 yards. That's not really how it works. It's the mechanics and it's the footwork and how your throws come from the soles of your feet all the way through the tip of your finger, and having to really be calm and how and knowing where you're going to go with the ball and being able to man a huddle of 10 other men. And that's the thing that Dan Enos wants all three of these quarterbacks to learn because they're used to looking to the sideline, people holding up signs or throwing up hand signals or whatever, and then they turn and yell and do all this. And no, Dan Enos wants this to look like we know what we're talking about on offense. So after the play is done, you're going to run to the sideline. I'm going to give you a play and you're going to run back to a huddle of 10 other men, and you're going to get that play back to these 10 men. We're going to break the huddle. We're going to walk to the line of scrimmage. You're going to check this defense and see if this play will work. See if this play is going to be successful. If it is not, then you have to get a play that is successful out to everyone. Make sure everyone understands we're on the same page and we're making it audible. And then I want you to hike the ball and I want you to give the ball to the person who's open is going to play for us. And I want you to do it over again and over again and over again at a consistently high level. And that's the beautiful thing about bringing in a quarterbacks coach like that. He knows how it should look. He knows how it should sound. He knows how our offensive line should look, how they should move together, how a quarterback has to man a huddle, man an offense, and be a leader. Can you lead a group of men while the coaches can't be around you? Can you go in and have your wide receivers come to the Carol Sofer indoor practice facility with you and go over routes? Can you go with the offensive line one day and have everybody meet up and we all go over snap counts and no one moves? Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. When people line up in certain positions on the defensive side of the ball, who are we reading? Who are we blocking? Who are we leaving open? Who are we sliding protection to? Things of that nature. And if the quarterback of these three can get that done this offseason, come July 25th, and then come August 24th, we'll know who the true starting quarterback is out of these three. And they have truly earned it based on all of those things I have said and wanting to continuously get better at that position. Miami was a quality quarterback away from at least winning 9 to 10 games last year. And every year we say that. Every year you get a Miami Hurricane fan in your comment section saying, we're going to the national championship. We got the talent to do this. We got the talent to do that. But when you really sit and think about it and you look at the film, for those of you who hate Miami or those of you who are not fans, just listen to me. Miami has a lot of talent on these teams. I'm not picking Miami to go 11-1 and go to the ACC championship, upset Clemson. No. What I'm saying is the quality quarterback that comes out of these three will help lead Miami to being a nationally relevant program, whether that be 10 wins or whether that be maybe 11, maybe 9. But it's how the quarterback position plays is going to project us into the future to where you go into a UNC second week of the season and we don't look like we don't know what's going on. It's not about how you play in the first big game. It's not about having all these preseason accolades. It's about what happens during these games, mid-season and postseason. Is Miami still relevant in December and January, as the Miami fans love to talk about being relevant in July and June?
So we hear time and time again, obviously knowing that the quarterback position is the most important on the field, that one player breaks down on, let's say, offense, and the entire play uh, is going to go under. Well, that's not necessarily true. You can have a wide receiver run a bad route. You can have a wide receiver get lost and be covered. You can have one of the offensive linemen break down and have his guy come through the line, and you can have the quarterback be able to adjust, beat the rush with the timing throw, or be able to juke if he's got that kind of mobility. If the wide receiver doesn't run the right route or slips in the route or is covered, he's got 3 or 4 other progressions to look through. But everything can go correctly. The offensive line does its job, the wide receivers run their routes, and the quarterback can throw the ball in the dirt or miss the guy. And he's the one guy that obviously has his hands on the ball and is running the offense and is also looked at as a leader on the field. And we just saw time and time again when seemingly everybody else on the field did their job over the last 2 seasons. And yes, every quarterback's going to miss throws. But my estimation would be a good college quarterback who makes 30 throws a game is going to miss 4 or 5. He's not going to miss 8 or 10 or 12 throws. And that gap between missing 10 or 12 throws and missing 3 or 4 is enormous in a competitive ACC game.
Oh yeah, and I 100% agree with you. And I think we can go on a long tangent of talking about the quality of teams we play in the ACC and how if you look on paper, Miami should have at least been in the ACC championship game 8 of the last 10 years. But that's a whole different conversation. But the quarterback position, yes, it's important that your completion percentage is high. But that also works hand in hand with your offensive coordinator slash play caller. If they continuously put you in this position to where, okay, a team knows smash routes is coming on third down, no matter how long of it is, and a quality defensive coordinator sees that, all he has to do is sit in cover three, and now you're throwing an interception, and now someone's gonna it's an incompletion, or they know that we have great tight ends, so they understand we love to attack the seams. Well, all you have to do is come out and either cover four or mix up some coverages, some man zone, and then some man blitzes, and to where it looks as though that tight end is wide open. Oh, tight end down the seam. As soon as you let the ball go, the safety's right there to pick it off. So it works hand in hand. Your play caller puts you in position. The coaches, they do the teaching and they put you in position, but it's up to the player to make the plays. But the quarterback position is very dependent, like you just illustrated. It's not the most dependent, I would say, wide receiver is, but
Oh yeah.
quarterback is one of the most dependent positions because the snap has to get to me properly. I need my wide receiver or anybody running a pattern or route to be in the right position, and I need to get the ball to them, and then they need to catch the ball, catch wide receivers, catch, carry, catch the ball,
And not
never get
drop it
rid
40 times.
of
Which again, you would expect. I don't know what the average is nationally, 10 or 15. And again, that's the difference between 25 and 30 completions over the course of a season. That extends drives. Maybe one of those, there's a busted coverage and it goes for a long gainer. All those things come into play. You never know. When you get a play that kills a drive, you just have no idea. You could be at your own 30-yard line and it's 3rd and 3 and there's a dropped pass and you have no idea that that play, that drive may have extended for 70 yards and a touchdown, but now you're punting. Or you get a penalty, a holding call on a left tackle when you completed the 3rd down play that converted the 1st down. But you'll never know what would have happened in that drive. And there's only so many drives in any given football game.
Right, and then also one more thing before we go on to the next position, with the quarterback position and interchanging quarterbacks left and right. Well, each quarterback throws the ball a little different. Nicosi Perry is known to have a cannon, and and he needs to develop his touch because even on these little seams and slants and drags, he's beaming it. Boom, like you can hear it on the gloves when they catch the ball. Boom. But then you have a guy like Malik Rozier who he just had a weak arm, so it was always like soft passes. And I think that also contributed to why they had a lot of drop passes because, you know, how is this ball coming at me? You get what I'm saying? And that's just an excuse I can come up with because, you know, you have Jeff Thomas, one of our best players, with 7. You have Daryl Langham and D. Wiggins both with 5. You have Brevin Jordan and Mike Hartley with 4 drop passes, and Hightower and David and Evidence and Joker with 2. So it was spread around, and then you have the big numbers of Cajun, but of drop passes. But you know, like I said, when it comes to this quarterback position, whoever truly wants this and is going to do the things that um, are necessary for a Division I quarterback, especially at the University of Miami, who was at one point viewed as QBU. Now that was 30 years ago, but to bring in a guy that can do it the right way, be aggressive, cool headed, and a leader and who wants to win, they'll be the starting quarterback at the U.